Hey there, folks. Welcome to another Railroader video. Today we've got a new free mod locomotive for the game, which is very cool. There's only a couple of these by now, so we're starting to get there. And this is an interesting one nonetheless. So this is based on the C&IM 440, what they call the A1 American type locomotive. This was done by Green Ninja 2404, and it's based on the Chicago and Illinois Midland Railroad, essentially, which dates back to like the late 1800s. And three of these units were built in the last 440 American types built for service in 1927. Now, these were primarily used for passenger service between Springfield and Peoria, Illinois, which is a distance of roughly 70 miles. And utilized up until the early 50s. Now, you are going to be able to pick this bad girl up on Nexus mods, which is very nice. And the only thing that you will need, as with a lot of mods, now the way mods are in Railroader, just for those that may be unaware, is there's essentially two programs or two utilities which mods are to be loaded into to be able to, be used within the game. This one requires, and it shows down here under requirements, the asset loader, which is part of the Unity mod manager. So you will need both of those. Generally, you click this, it's a link, it takes you right to what you need. And then if you need the Unity mod loader deal, or the, I forget the name of it, Unity mod manager or something like that, you click on that and it'll take you right to it. You install it, all that good stuff. Just like the GP38, if you guys are familiar with the GP38 mod. But this is a fresh new locomotive in the game, again by Green Ninja 2404, American type. So second one in the game. Let's get in there and actually take a look at it. So there's quite a bit going on with this mod, and while it is a smaller American type, and it's known as an American type with good reason, as I'm sure a lot of you know. These things paved the way for America to be widened into the West and beyond. The good old 440. And so I've got two of them sat here. The one on the right is the new one, and the one on the left is the one that's within the game already, and they are fairly different. So if you're thinking maybe this is just a thing that was taken from that and kind of tweaked in a few ways, it is not. It is very much different in a lot of ways, which we'll take a look at here. But side by side, so the one on the left, the vanilla, is the A23. It's 90-something ton, I think, and it's got about 22,600 pounds force tractive effort. And then the one on the right, the mod, is the A18, 111 ton, and 18,600 pound tractive effort on that, because it was a passenger locomotive primarily. But there are a lot of differences. First and foremost, just the way it looks. So, I've never been totally put off by the way the vanilla locomotives look within Railroader, but they just look kind of like a plasticky touch to them. I don't know if it's the coloring, the lighting, amalgamation of all of those things working against or together, but they always just kind of look plasticky. This one, the mod, the new one here, looks pretty darn good. It's got that weathered look all over the firebox, the locomotive as a whole, basically, whereas this one is just super clean. And sure, over time, when you use the hell out of it, it will dirty up and kind of make it dingy and whatnot, but this looks pretty good. This just looks like a used locomotive, like it's not been fully restored sitting in some shop or museum somewhere. So, right out of the gate, this thing looks pretty good. Weather-wise, it does look very, very nice, especially compared to the vanilla. One of the big deals is obviously the smoke box itself. It is a little bit different. It's tapered a bit differently than this one here, the 23. I think the drivers are the same size, actually, but they do look a little bit different. So they were larger drivers, but I actually like the way the vanilla ones look, if I am honest. Now, when I'm talking about that, I'm talking about that in relation to the actual, ground surface or rail surface of the axle of the wheel or the driver itself, because it makes these just look very, very thin. They almost look like a wagon wheel or something to that effect. So I feel like if the actual wheel part was kind of darkened a bit and had less of that blue, silvery blue look to it, it probably blend and mesh a bit better and not just be very prominent. Because when you're looking at this thing, it's it's one of the biggest things you notice, or at least I notice. Maybe it's my slight OCD, which I don't doubt. But this one here is not too bad. I remember initially they had a problem, the devs of Railroader, where I don't know if I'd call it a problem. They made it that way intentionally, and then they fixed it, thank God. But initially, the wheel surface or the axle surface was like this super high polish, and they went back and darkened it. And now it looks pretty damn good. Now it looks good because it didn't match with axles on coaches and freight cars and things like that. But anyway, yeah, like the wheels themselves look good. And I love the just kind of nastiness all over it. The weathered effect, the grunginess. They just look really, really thin. So I think they need to be darkened or something like that just to make it look, I don't know, a bit more appropriate, I guess you could say. The rods as well. The rods seem a little bit clean. Now, of course, I've not seen one of these things in person, but I've seen plenty of photos. And generally, everything's fairly dark. Mind you, that was old technology, photo or photon capturing technology, making pictures back then. But, all the stuff's traditionally pretty dark. There is some weathering on all these bits as well, but it would be nice if those were darkened up just a little skosh as well. And then the cylinder cap. So this is a neat feature about this locomotive or mod, is it's got that kind of bare metal or polished metal cap on the cylinder there, the valve, which does look good. It gives it like a unique look as well. The pilot is weathered as well. Looks very nice. Looks very appropriate. The front of this thing. So obviously it's the C&IM, which has got the diamond up there. Now they left that there, and you can put in whatever you would like within that diamond. To do so, you simply click the locomotive, hit select, equipment, customize, and then you type it in there where I have WDRR. So that's where that would change. We'll go ahead and change that here just to show you. We'll make it say hi. There we go. Now it says hi. Very good. So yeah, you can have that say what you want. It's got working marker lights, white and green. The lights work as necessary. Rears and fronts. You've got your cylinder cap animation, which is very cool. Yeah, it's a good looking engine. I mean, the only kind of real thing that's irking me a little, and I hate to say that because people take their own personal time to make these mods for the public to enjoy, so I don't want to sit here and crap on anything, not in any regard, but if the wheels just had like a thicker or darker look to them, I mean, this thing would just be pie-yow. So the leading wheels are different as well, as you'll see on that, and then we'll come over to the vanilla one. They've got that real old school look, so that's more appropriate because this would have been a lot more modern, hence the way the engine looks overall, basically, and the wheels as well, compared to the 23 over here. Had a very chunk tender as well. This one here holds 9 ton of coal, and I think 5,000 or 4,500 gallons of water. And again, little bits of it, look appropriate and don't look out of place or anything like that. You can see where there's some weathering and corrosion and rust like that on the steps and whatnot. See the leaf springs up in there. But it looks pretty good. Another cool thing is the coal texture. So the coal texture is a little bit different back in these. So if you'll notice, this is the vanilla game locomotive here. This is the mod. It's, they could have been using a different kind of coal. Who knows? So although C&IM was primarily a coal hauling railroad, so I'm sure they had plenty of it to go around. But that does look different. The texture is different. It's a little bit lighter, which is nice. It doesn't look super, super dark. Again, the top of the tender's got weathering all over. It can still open the cap. You can see the water texture in there, which is different, I think, from that. Actually, it's not. Maybe I've already lost my mind, but maybe I lost it further. Yeah, I swear the water texture was different. Yeah, I'll have to reflect on that. Get it? Reflect. So, the tender. C&IM. So they were pretty famous for their logo. It's good looking livery too, even the newer stuff that, the green and the orange. You want to call it red or orange? I think it's more of a red. But it had a big old stripe right down the tender. They, I guess, opted to not go with that to keep it normalized within Railroader. So it didn't kind of stand out, and not kind of fit appropriately or anything like that. So they left that out. They did keep the kind of big road number, unit number on there, which is pretty cool because that's like one of those hallmark things when you think of the C&IM is the big number on the tender. And yeah, I can't really think of too much more. It's got windows that are animated as well as the hatch up top. Now I have noticed a bit of Z fighting going on with the cab there, as you can see on the side of the cab, fireman and engineer side. There's only like certain angles or zooms that you can see the actual number. It's being kind of weird. Oh my God, what did I do? I hit the wrong key. But anyway, this has already been updated once, so that might have been fixed, to be honest, because I don't think I installed the latest one. Anyway, to the inside again. Here's the new cold texture. Yeah, animated firebox, which is cool. The windows still work. Got that three-way slide all the way in, both sides, doors on that. Here's your hatch up here. Oh, let's go back outside. So the bell, this is a neat little thing. The bell is animated, as are the vanilla locomotives, but the string, the pull string moves, which is kind of cool. So that's a neat effect. So we'll click on this one, for example. And that one moves as well. Yeah, I'm an idiot. So it's still animated. I thought those didn't move for some reason. Maybe I was looking at the wrong thing. So yeah, those are animated as well. But anyway, full mod animated, so it's pretty cool. We don't need two bells. Let's go ahead and turn that one off. Thank you, sir. Okay, there we go. All right, we'll click back on this one. Select, we'll do road. Give it a little juice. And we'll get on creeping here. So everything else works as it should. This is quite a simple mod to install. It's just something, you know, different for you to be able to use. You can use it on some little commuter branch lines, like, you know, you can do something between like Andrews and Roto, or, you know, do something on the, let's see, like the Alarka Junction down into Alarka. Like in my, this is my sandbox, but in my single player save, I've got a little kind of commuter road that's for like the miners and their families to go to and from the mines to the junction. You know, or hell, you could do something from like Wilmot to Silva. Now you definitely don't want to do anything too crazy weight wise. This train right here, half of it is the locomotive and its tender. Coaches are fairly light. You know, so you're gonna want to keep it a bit lighter. It might struggle. You could test and see what all it could, you know, be capable of, but I think you could definitely use it as like a small yard switcher, something like that. Maybe handle a couple of cars, maybe have it like your lumber yard or your sawmill locomotive, moving stuff around, but primarily, obviously, just looking at the drivers alone, you know, passenger locomotive, which is pretty cool, and it looks pretty cool. I mean, I probably wouldn't use it otherwise, but it'd be nice to see on the map just for what it is, because it's a passenger locomotive, and see it, you know, fly by with a couple of cars going to and from. Let's scooch it up a little bit more. We'll get back inside. The interior is done as well. That's totally different, the way the interior looks, as far as the, you know, the textures and all that good stuff on the inside of the cab here. You can still sit and all that. Everything else is pretty much the same as vanilla. It's just a new locomotive. The brake stand is all brand new, so I don't think that was taken directly from any of the locomotives in the game. It does look totally different. And let's go ahead and set it to manual. It is all operable. And speaking of, so you got your whistle pull up here. So that is not animated, but it still works. You still click it and just, you know, do your thing. Same with all your controls. So you got your throttle. We'll throw that down. Let's see. There's our train brake. Go ahead and release that. Here's the locomotive brake. So it's all operable. Everything is as operable as it should be. Let's see. Let's stand up here. Let's see what we can mess with. See if there's anything else that I am missing. How do I grab the reverser here? Am I going bananas? Am I not looking? And oh, what else is cool is these gauges, the way they're faced as well. Can I? Am I losing my friggin' mind, dude? There we go. So you got to kind of grab it right there. There we go. So we'll just give this thing a little goose. We'll put it on 60%. It's not super duper heavy. Let's just give it a little bit. right, let's go. Yeah, but no real details were spared. I mean, this thing looks pretty darn legit to the photos I've seen. I've never seen like an interior shot of this thing. You know, finding stuff about steam locomotives, you know, the kind of niche area of steam locomotives is getting harder and harder by the day to be able to find stuff. So I don't think they could really base the interior of this thing on, you know, the real prototype, so to say. But I mean, I think it looks pretty darn good. I don't know if the interior would have been green like this, you know, but it is what it is. I do like that brake stand though. Let's hop out and take a look around a little bit more here. Select follow. And while we're out here, we'll do a little quick comparison for this. So here are the locomotives themselves. So the A18, that's what we're in right now, 111 ton, and then the A23 is the vanilla one, 94 ton. And so it should show you, and since I'm in Sandbox, it doesn't show, you know, some stats like the Career does. But the A23, the vanilla, is 22,000 pound tractive effort essentially, and then this thing is 18.6, so it's a little tiny bit weaker. Yeah, but it's, you know, it's just a nice little commuter train, relatively flat. I mean, hell, where these things were made to run, flat as hell. You know, Midwest, Illinois, thereabouts. Well, completely within Illinois, but this thing looks pretty darn good. It looks good. I really like the texture, the weather of it. You know, you can see bolts and rivets and things like that. It just looks really good. I like the way the cab looks. This is probably one of the most, you know, if I'm honest, like realistic looking steam locomotives in the game right now. And it's just the minutia, the small detail that make it that way to me, that just gives it like an organic, natural look that I feel like some of the stuff is missing. But yeah, this sucker's free, and it's nice. The C&IM 440A1, just a short and sweet one, guys. It'll be linked down below if you want to go and check it out for yourself. But for now, signing off. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time, guys. Bye.